Now, we are up. What's going on?
Happy Mother's Day to all your mothers on this beautiful Sunday. What are you guys doing today?
Thank you.
I'm awake. I woke up early today and got some stuff done, so that was a nice change of pace.
Oh, your mom?
Not yet. I'm gonna give her a call after the show is over.
Alright, it sounds good.
Evil man.
I mean, I could just send her a link and be like, "Hey, tune in."
That's what I did. This is how you're getting my Happy Mother's Day wish. The only problem is my mom know how to work the work Skype or the internet, so she'll never see it. Now, everyone,
it's the thought that counts. The thought that counts.
Exactly.
You didn't get it, or you didn't know that I even gave this thing to you, but I was thinking of you. And the thought is somewhere in the universe.
You should know how, whatever.
I mean, it's kind of true in life.
Yeah. I mean, you're the buff. You should know how to do something. I teach you. Come on. Oh, my phone. I don't know how to stop. I downloaded this $50 app and what it does. What's up my phone?
So you know what's interesting about talking about Mother's Day and this episode? Well, I guess there's two episodes that we're talking about, but in the second one, we kind of dig into Andros' family a little bit.
Yes.
We finally kind of get a little bit more background on that.
I wish I know who it was. I think we know who his father is, some king or mom. I don't know.
Some sound issues. It sounds like in and out. It's a blur.
Huh. Interesting. Blur. Is it someone, like, specifically one person's audio, or is it all of our audio together that's kind of going out?
Bloop, bloop, bloop,
let
bloop,
us know,
bloop, bloop.
and I can see what I can do to fix this. I know I am running out of hard drive space on my computer, so we could be running into, like, some weird glitches because of resources being eaten away.
Oh, it's the morphing grid. Fucking for us.
Exactly.
True.
I'm telling you, man. It's like, no.
So let's start talking about, I guess, this first episode here that Adam comes back in. Daniel, you wanna give us a small rundown on what's going on here?
Well, those are out in the field fighting, and they're fighting the one and only Liz. And Liz is very smart. Did a switcheroo and ends up getting Cassie. And Cassie, this is something that's interesting to me because I've seen the Rangers fight so many times. I've never seen them sprain or break an arm or anything while morphed. And this is the first time I'm seeing like repercussions outside of them being in the field. Seeing that, okay, this job is kind of dangerous. So she has her sprain or break on her arm. And of course, now Carlos feels guilty because he wasn't quick enough to respond or save her. When he saw the switch happen, he just brought his weapon down and it hit her. It's his fault. Feeling really got it, and then, thank God, into the best Rangers to ever be a Ranger, Adam. Because Adam's out there training, he's keeping good, he's fresh. So he runs into Adam, and Carlos runs into Adam, and he's like, "Oh, you're bad, but you're feeling down." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling fresh." And then that's what he says. It's okay. Here, take this. No, he says, "All right, let me help you out."
No sensu beans.
No sensu beans. Yeah, there you go. And he's like, "Let me show you how to, get better," and blah blah blah. And they have really. What is that?
It's wheatgrass.
Oh.
No. It's Naked Juice green machine.
Oh,
you hit
Naked Juice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love, dude. See, I want something. Well, anyway, so now that happened, it still doesn't spark up that energy or that trust in himself, Carlos. And because of that, Unfortunately, Carlos gets it in his mind that he needs to leave and stop being a ranger. Then we get into a little bit of a fight again. And it was Adam again having to fight outside a suit, fast, quick, in a hurry. The guy is just as good as when he was before, if not. Anyway, he ends up having more, and when he does, we get the reveal of the broken morpher. Now, does anyone remember why that morpher is broken?
I do not, because I did not watch that season.
I mean, that thing was destroyed. The words was destroyed. That was a pretty emotional, finale for their power coin. But my big question, because I know we're going through the synopsis, but realistically, why is he not using his turbo morpher like Justin? We obviously all know that turbo morphs still work. I'm not sure why he's not getting into the Green Ranger.
Thank you.
Confused.
That's why I asked the question. Because as a fan, we've watched and we've gone through, and we noticed, wait a minute, okay, I understand it's broken, like we said, the power core were destroyed, etc. So, yeah, he's holding on to one for poops and giggles. Here comes the other one, and
man.
I'm trying. And then here goes with the turbo, he had the turbo more, and yet he didn't. I know the writers weren't paying attention. But anyway, he has to go ahead and fight when all the other.
Our audio is still coming in and out.
Yeah, that's just going to be an issue. Because I actually think it might be the internet, because I hear you guys cutting out on me a little bit. So that's.
Oh, I hear everything perfectly fine.
Yeah,
it's really a Josh problem.
It's a my internet problem.
Yeah.
Oh man. So our power is completely gone. The Ren call on to the Megazord and the bad guy, and they ultimately win.
So let me ask you guys a question. This is I'm looking through some of the notes here. There's no errors that have been updated for this episode yet, but something that I noticed, two things that I noticed when I was watching it was first, when Adam actually does morph, they didn't redo his morph sequence, so his hair and his like his visual appearance was the same as his visual appearance as it was from the original show, and not updated because his hair is like up here and not down here like it is now.
Yeah, the long lock.
Yeah. And then something else I noticed, probably for the first time in this episode, no, I can't fix the audio, Thomas. We covered that like 3 minutes ago. When Carlos demorphed, he actually got shorter. Or I'm sorry, he didn't get shorter. His Ranger counterpart was shorter, so he got a little bit taller.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So in the beginning, when Carlos demorphs, when he sees Adam, he goes from being like here to being just like up there. It's like it's not a big difference, but it's noticeable that it's like, okay, he wasn't that whoever was wearing the suit was not the same size as dude playing Carlos.
I get it.
Okay.
But, I don't know, stuff.
This is hard. It's something different, and it's noticed when someone is smaller.
Right. Yeah.
Because how big it is versus like a little bit tighter. Spandex is still fit to begin with, so it's probably something you wouldn't know that if it were flipped. But
I like.
Yeah. I know it was kind of crazy.
On this episode, what may have stood out to either of you? Something that was like, dang, or ooh, I thought of it.
I mean, it's crazy since we already kind of talked about the power coins.
Mm-hmm.
So the were destroyed pretty much. Like the Zords were destroyed, all of that, like the original powers that they had, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that did not exist anymore. Everything. So I'm confused why he was able to morph. Obviously, they still have a little bit of power left in the power coin. But yeah, and then why not Zeo? Why not Turbo? Why not morph into any of the ones, especially Turbo, since we already know that exists? I was kind of expecting that to happen, and then having a whole team up, because obviously we did just maybe they'll bring Cat, maybe they'll someone else, and we would have a full team you know, like up.
My
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
my assumption with the Morpher was that was the last one that he had, and that I guess they traded up over time. So
at this point then.
we know that there's the Master Morpher or whatever out there somewhere that can let you morph into other Rangers. And there's another one I think too, right? Isn't there like a Mega Ranger or something thing that lets you change?
That Jason had, yeah.
Yeah.
The one, I'm sorry. I'd say that.
Tommy.
I mean, the one that Tommy had. I don't know anything about the new team that's coming out. Power Rangers. No, but you're that one. That morph. Franco did say it was Jason, Zach, and Trini who had their power coins destroyed. But I'm like, okay, so what happened to Adams? Because I mean,
was this after he was already a frog? But so because they did they transfer powers. You're right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Don would not. Yeah, super weird. Been through so many changes.
Like you said, why didn't he have the turbo and not turbo Zeo, right? Because he was still Zeo, right? Like he just should have been Mastodon. I thought he should one of the others instead of that one. But I don't. Hey, go help me out right now. School me real quick. Why did Adam still? Why didn't he have
any of his other morphers?
Yeah, one of the others. Start with that. We'll continue, but help me out.
Well, the thing is, I don't need the powers. Like honestly, he came in kicking butt, lick a tongue, lizard more, like all out, and Adam with Carlos morph. But like Adam doesn't need a morph, man. He's already strong. He's been training all this time, like freaking I don't know, one man at this point.
Do we know where Adam was hiding out? Like where he was that he just kind of randomly moseyed over?
Is just chilling.
No, I would say whoever did Ninja back in his his lamp or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but Ninja.
Centurion.
Yeah, that's right. Odd couple. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to make it. And he's like, it's sticky. I'm going to do it. You know, like whatever. I don't know whatever they have their problems. No, honestly. I'm seeing. Wait, okay. Coins were destroyed, but not the Dino. Dino coins were drained. So that's why Dino coins drained of power. So wasn't Dino and the didn't Adam? Oh yeah, like transferred crystal and okay.
But I mean, it also looked like the Morpher was damaged. Like it didn't look like it was just drained. It looked like it was like not completely in one piece.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm gonna glue together, and I'm still gonna be a ranger. Like, you know, the out for a good moment. Poke high, 19, blah blah blah. Just it's there you go. All right, cool. That's what happened.
See, the Rangers are greedy because they said their turbo powers. Like, obviously, we saw his turbo powers, so all have turbo powers. Are they not like passing on?
Well, Justin had the turbo powers because Morpher was in the vehicle. He didn't still have the Morpher. It popped out of the glove box when he hopped into the car.
Oh, I wonder if Lightning Chaser has the other one then. What was it? Storm Chaser and Lightning Car? Man, you would think I'm such a fake Power Ranger right now. Man, you would think I would remember, but I blocked out
Storm Shadow.
No, what? Stop it.
What? Storm Chaser. It was Storm Chaser.
I would say.
And Lightning Mean.
Guys, both of you. Both of you. Dear guys. You know how many letters we're going to get out of people come you, why do we mess up the names, and then you're bringing in business, and on top of that, you're bringing in G.I. Joe.
Kit was one of them. Kit.
Oh, God. Stop it.
Mr. Feeney?
Oh, man. Evil. Anyway, anything that about the episode to you?
Besides, there's nothing that really stood like specifically that stood out to me in this episode. There was something in the next one, but I do think at the very beginning of the episode, when we saw the monster's power for the first time, like they could switch with people, I was like, oh, that's stupid. Like what purpose, like what actual purpose can this have? It's like, okay, well now I'm in a different place and I was over here before. Like teleporting, cool, yeah.
Dude.
But trading places with someone's like, that's dumb. But then when he actually used it during the fight, I was like, oh, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was cool that he actually did it, and he in a very smart way. He was just like, well, let's deal with this, Ranger, and that was it.
And
I love that part.
And then again,
he was a better villain though. Was stealing knowledge of the scientist, so I thought he was stealing that knowledge to make something like crazy, to make it scientific, to really get at yours by sticking that knowledge with a weird sex innuendo, and it.
See, I thought it was going to be like a was it a Batman and Robin or Batman Forever, like with the Riddler with the TV thing. Like where they were sucking the knowledge out of everyone that got the set top box. So I was expecting something more like that, where like, okay, well now he knows the Ranger's powers after he's like wrapped his tongue around them or whatever. Like I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah, like something for that to play into the monster's abilities or a way to kind of undermine or defeat Rangers, and it was really just like trading places, like a TLC, like Home Improvement show or something like that.
He was like, swap. That's what I wish. He said like he was so good. Swim in a swamp. She's like, what? And she looks up. Boom. She's like, every time.
Or it's like maybe like make people slimy. I don't know.
I like the sound effect, but the sound effect was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this Ranger swap. And then she's like, oh no, and Bow gets hit. And he goes, 80% of the time, it was 20% of the time. And then after that, it's a fresh maker. He's gone. Great. But no, what are the notes on this?
Yeah, well, I'm hopping into the notes. If you guys in the chat right now want to give us your rankings for this episode, out of whatever completely fictional number you guys decide to make up, we will get to that right after these notes, because there are a lot of them this week, which I guess is making up for the fact that there are no errors.
Yeah, pick the best ones and then.
So let's see. I'm gonna breeze through a few of these because they're not really notes, they're things that we learned in the episode. Using damaged Morpher does not only cause an unstable Ranger uniform and powers, but also threatens the user's life from the backlash. We got that in the exposition, so we already know that. Yep. This is Adam's first appearance since the Turbo episode, Passing the Torch.
Yeah.
Let's see, that ties into the next note as well, so I'm just going to skip over that one. This is the only time Adam and Andros appear together. Andros would later team up with Adam's old teammates Jason and Tommy in Forever Red. Throughout the episode, Adam is seen wearing both black and green clothing, signifying the Ranger colors he wore during his time as an active Power Ranger. This is actually interesting and goes back to something that I mentioned earlier. Adam's morphing sequence is a previously unused version of his Mighty Morphin second season morphing sequence, where instead of just standing there shouting Mastodon, Adam actually does the hand gestures with his Power Morpher. Because it was filmed for season 2, Adam's Paracoin and Morpher are undamaged and his hair is shorter. It is unknown if similar morphing sequences exist for the other Rangers, although a prototype morphing sequence for Tommy appeared in the episode Karate Club Green Ranger Kata VHS.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What was that?
A song called Strike that was used is from VR Troopers. In Mega Ranger, it was the Red Ranger who injured a little boy because of an illusion, making him believe he was an enemy, rather than Black injuring Pink due to the monster switching places with her. So it's a similar concept, but they changed the way it happened in the episode to fit with the story that they wanted. This is the first appearance of Bulk and Skull and the Professor since the Great Evilizer. And
they didn't even come to play.
Yeah, they were just kind of there. They appear again in Dark Spectre's Revenge. The monster's name, Wizlizard. The monster's name was Wizlizard originally during filming, but it was changed in post-production. But in some instances, you can see mouth movements that match the pronouncing of his original name. This name was also used in several TV listings for the episode. Justin Nemo does not appear in this episode due to the fact that the Mega Ranger episode took place before the debut of Zane's counterpart. That I find interesting because just because he was there in human form doesn't mean that he needed to be there for the Ranger action scenes.
Yeah.
He could have been there in the beginning and been like, oh, hey, I gotta go fix whatever, and disappear for the episode and then come back at the end and be like, y'all good?
Yeah. It would have been like, oh, she's hurt. I was gonna stay here, evaluate things and morphing grid, blah, blah, blah. I got some help to do with that.
Go off planet, yeah, do whatever.
Well, it makes sense, though, because he's still helping his original K-35 community.
True. He is still off planet.
Around, so they put it in the previous episode. It was probably a better move. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, he's in love with Astronema. Just think he's going with his home community for no real reason.
So going to the scores in the chat, Mikey Nerd Talk gives it a 3, Jared Hodges a 4, Blur gives it a 3, Larry Newbill gives it a 3, Thomas Franco, we are sorry for your ex. He gives it a 5 out of 5. Matthew Thompson gives it a 5 out of 5, and would 5 it again. Metal Ryan Cluster gives it a 3. Larry Newbill says, never mind, I'm giving it a 4, and Jonathan gives it a 4. Daniel, what is your score for this episode?
This is a moderate episode. Honestly, the only thing that was cool about it was Adam. I love his moves. He was fast, he's quick, in charge. It was great. And originally, he was just going to give the episode a 3, but Adam still brings it up to a 4. So, Adam is the saving grace for this episode for me.
Elle?
Yeah, I have to definitely agree. I like the Rocky or Luke Skywalker Yoda training montage. I thought that was fun. The only thing I wish that would have happened is when Carlos went to attack him and then jumped off the shoulders, Adam would collapse and Carlos would throw it down and then sunk him more into a deep depression where we work through this even more. That's the only reason. It would have been better, development. He's already going through the PTSD if I hurt my friends, and he's like, I'm going to do this move but not prep my teammate, and Adam's shoulder just breaks off and away, and we have a preceding. Because we didn't get that, it's down to a 4 for me. Other than that, everything else was fantastic. Love the training, and Adam's one of my favorite Rangers, so definitely a 4. On to Josh.
All right. Well, before I give my score, Edward Sanchez gives it a 5, and Donnie Pearson also gives it a 5 out of 5. And I am so I was going to give it a 4, but I'm jealous of Adam's hair, so I'm knocking that down to a 3.75.
Nice. Adam being the saving grace actually brings it down a little bit. I like that. That's a good one.
Hey, I can't argue with that.
I want your retelling, film, shots, and delivery somehow, because that would be amazing.
Cassie and Adam, they're talking together in the corner, dude, fucking kicked me in the shoulder. Me too. I'm just commiserating how this guy just breaks everyone's arm off. It'd be funny. It'd be
that'd be good. That'd be good.
Where they're just
in the bloopers at the end.
Oh, the bloopers at the end, yeah. He did it to me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. He had a problem.
All right, so let's
moving on.
Yeah, let's move on to Secret of the Locket. Before this episode, I want to ask you guys, Elle and Daniel question, and also you guys in the chats. Since this is a story arc, do you cover the last 4 episodes of this all together next, or would you guys rather just do the 2 and 2 again?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, I don't have any experience with this, so I'm going to leave it up to the professionals in the chat. I will vote with whatever they say is best, since they have seen all of this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I love L because it feels like 2 and 2.
All right, so we're leaving this up to you guys watching. So let us know here in the chat, or come back and comment after this is over, and let us know whether you are interested in seeing us discuss the entire arc all at once next week, or if you'd like us to split it up 2 and 2 so we have a little bit more time to talk about each episode. Up to you guys.
That's the one thing.
We'll figure that out.
We either talk about it as one big story arc, or we break it down by episode. So it's kind of up to you. If you want to hear each episode more in detail, then you want to do 2 and 2. If you just don't care and they're all kind of mashed into each other anyway, and there's not a whole lot of development without 4 of them, then we're just going to do 1 episode. We are going to trust your knowledge of this particular fact. I don't know if that's good for us, to be honest. I don't know if I trust any of y'all, but you know.
We'll figure it out. We'll either come back and curse all of you guys, or we'll come back and be like, nope, that was a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. So this episode, I guess I will give a little bit of the breakdown here, since I make you guys do that every time. Nice. I'll take on that. Basically, this episode, I mean, it's a fairly straightforward plot. It starts off getting us right into the action. Everyone is fighting, and over the course of the fights and everything else that happens in this episode, we find out that Andros and Astronema are brother and sister, which we already knew. But now Andros finds that out as well, because he finds a locket that he knocked off.
We didn't really know it. Like, we didn't. Well, they've been leaving the breadcrumbs, and obviously we can deduce that, but they never explicitly said that they were. They've been leading this up, and I feel like if I was, an 8-year-old watching this, I may have not exactly put that together, or had theories about when it's. I can't even say if it's really confirmed. I mean, it's obviously confirmed by the same photo, each other, and same Locket.
Right. See, that kind of goes back to my, not my problems with watching these, because that sounds like I actually have a problem watching the show. It ties into the issue that I have rating the episodes, because I'm viewing them through the lens of a 40-year-old dude that didn't watch these when he was a kid. So the way I look at it and process the information that we're getting is going to be a lot different than a 10 or a 12-year-old would, or a kid who's watching this for the first time. So it's kind of hard for me to back out of that mindset and be like, if I was 12, how would I feel about this then?
You're like, that was so long ago. I don't know. I was not an intelligent kid. I was never really able to put things together. I don't know if I had really theories about any of the shows I watched. It was always like, I can't wait for the next one, and the next one is usually the next day. I don't have a lot of time to process it as a kid. So I may have had theories, but it wouldn't have been till this episode that it was confirmed. We know because we've been in the Power Ranger community long enough to just hear things.
Right.
That some of you in the chat like to spoil things, but I think I already knew this as well. Or at least in the beginning. I was already like, hey, they kind of look the same. They got the same hairdo. Is that the same, right? Chat was like, so I don't know.
So I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions about things that happened. So because there were a lot of flashbacks and flash forwards, and we saw, okay, what's happening now is paralleling what happened when they were a kid. So when Astronema sees the 2 kids in danger, she shoots the Quatron that was, or one of the Quatrons that was attacking and about to move in. So you had mentioned something earlier that you don't really remember ever seeing people attack, like outside people other than Power Rangers being attacked in these episodes.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if this is future episodes or earlier episodes because my memory of what happens where is all messed up. But obviously in the movie, Ivan Ooze was doing shit to all the adults, like hypnotizing them or whatever it was he was doing to get them to build that thing for him. But weren't there some other episodes in the past where people were kidnapped or like sent to a cave or something?
Oh yeah,
like the parents and stuff. Like they got the ranger parents. They've had kidnapped kids that the rangers were invested in or stuff like that.
But not like random people.
Alpha's kidnapped some kids for a Christmas episode. Like it happens. Kids get kidnapped all the time. But as far as
they mostly come and scare the other people away. Like if they're at a park and say there's a party, they'll come in and everyone's like, and they run away.
Right,
and the main part is the rangers fighting whatever foot soldiers happen to be with whatever season.
But I will say, like, it's still, like I said, rare to me to see that. Okay, I thought I had a whole episode. Thought I had a whole episode without it, guys. I really did. I was myself, and I didn't want to say anything, and I didn't want to jinx it. So I was like, keep it quiet, don't say anything. And here it is. And God, my thoughts now are jinxing me. Anyway, so what was trippy for me was that, okay, here are the Rangers not having, like, here goes the civilians, just running like they always do. And then we get to see what happens in the offside that, like, oh my gosh, the Quantrons are literally attacking a civilian who isn't important until they gave her a name, and we'll never forget her name is Karen. Poor little Karen. And she's out there, they're quarantining, and Karen's like, I'm going to do what I want. And she's out there. And of course, she gets back. That should teach you guys something.
Don't name your kids Karen.
Yeah. Well, maybe, stay inside, stay home. Hashtag
hey, no hate to any of our viewers that are named Karen. We actually like Karens. We judge them on an individual basis.
What's the?
I was just talking about people not staying home. I mean, that's all I'm talking about.
What's the male equivalent of Karen?
Probably like a Trent. Trent sounds like
Trent's a good one.
I've heard Kyle.
See, I've heard Chad.
Here comes Kyle. He drinks Mountain Dew, and
Oh, okay.
That's that joke.
I guess that would be the K equivalent name. I was just thinking of like a very
bland, waspy name.
Trent does sound like a, but so it just kind of still weird to me that, okay, the Quantron just for this one time happened to choose to attack the civilian, and I'm wondering, in like the Ranger world, does that happen a lot and we just never see it? So now I'm wondering how many civilians have been like attacked and killed or something that we never saw because, it's happening off camera or, like we're not able to see it.
Well, I mean, that's like when the monsters
probably stepped on 1,000 people.
Yeah, right? When the monsters get really big, that's.
I mean, they are destroying buildings. Yeah, that's true.
And like even the Megazords, like it's collateral damage. Like we don't see it and nobody talks about it, but we all know that there is significant collateral damage in Angel Grove and now in space.
I've seen Pacific Rim. I know what happens when giant robots and giant monsters fight, like really fight in a big area.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's
like
true.
Every week, it's like Galactus is coming down and just trying to eat the city.
Yeah, it's like Superman fighting with his relatives over and over, and they're just like, oh God, here it comes again. All right, guys, nobody work on Sunday. That's when they attack. So it could be that. Who knows?
That's very true.
But yeah, I mean, more than like the Quantrons attacking people, I was actually really confused with our villains, our typical villains, Darkonda and Ecliptor, like protecting Astronema and trying to be like, no, we like you and we know that we kidnapped you, and having this kind of change of heart. Like, to me, that was a little crazier and out of left field than Quantrons trying to attack a Karen,
I think what was kind of interesting to me is because, I mean, we knew that Darkonda and Ecliptor didn't have a good relationship with each other, and that if they could, they would kill each other, which obviously we saw come to fruition in this episode. But I'm not exactly sure why Ecliptor helped save Andros.
I got an answer.
Okay. We'll hear it. I'm interested in your answer.
So, the reason he does it is because, of course, his his master, let's call her his master. Astronema is now invested in finding out who her brother is. She kind of even tells Ecliptor. Ecliptor cares and loves her. It's like, oh my gosh, I've been bringing this girl up, so I care about her.
Okay, he's a Thanos. He's Thanos, and this is Gamora.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Right. So immediately it's like, okay, I've got to save him because eventually I'm gonna try to have them end up, connecting or something. I guess. So he doesn't want it where she finds out later and she's like, why didn't you save my brother? You knew who he was. And he's like, I don't have an answer. That would be the worst thing ever because she'll kill him.
I like that. I actually really like that reasoning. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I mean,
because I had the same question as Josh, and like for a kid show, all right.
Yeah, I don't know, because if I was Astronema,
I wasn't convinced.
Because here's the thing: if I was Astronema, I'd probably kill Ecliptor either way. Because on the one hand, it's okay, either A, you let my brother die,
or you kidnapped me and kept me.
But
away from
on the
my
other
brother.
hand, you kidnapped me and killed my parents.
Well, remember, he didn't kidnap. It was Darkonda.
But he had Darkonda kidnap her, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
But we don't know why. I want to know why it was her and not Andros or anyone else. Like, does she have some sort of secret powers that are her telekinesis or telekinetic powers is beyond anyone else? Like, why specifically her? Like there has to be a reason. Or is that coming up?
I've got that answer.
Got a theory. Okay.
It's called damsel in distress, misogynistic type of situation.
That's not what I want to hear. I'm not pleased with that answer. No.
I'm sorry. It's outrageous.
All right. Well, all right. That's already -1 point for this episode, even though that's completely revealed. But
See, I mean, I was gonna give it a little bit more credit than that.
Theories in the chat. I would like to hear your fan theories for that as well. If Astronema has some sort of secret like boss OP power, and that's why she was the chosen child.
Well,
see, I was thinking it could have just been that he was ordered to get one of them, and she was the one that he was able to grab.
She was closest to the bushes. So he's like, hey.
Yeah.
Bah! And then disappears like Homer Simpson back into the bushes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, Pikachu Master 542 says, because Darth Vader pretty much, Darth Vader, Luke, he's stronger, and then he realized we're not watching Star Wars, but we are kind of watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, that's
Or wait.
Okay.
Here we go. Here, I got it. Ecliptor used to have a daughter. And something happened to her. So now he decided that he's going to take some random human from some other planet to be his daughter and to replace that one.
That's a story trope I can get behind. I like that too.
I love, Jonathan says Dark Honda put Astronema on Ecliptor's doorstep. I like that. I love Dark.
So wait. No. Andros and Karone's parents paid Ecliptor to have Karone kidnapped because there was a prophecy that she would grow up and destroy their planet, so they wanted to get her as far away as possible.
Ooh.
Okay. These are all kind of interesting if none of these come to fruition or the actual story is not as good or as complex as these. I'm going to be a little disappointed, but also keeping in mind this is Power Rangers. It's going to have a happy ending. She's going to be a Power Ranger. So I'm pretty sure everything's going to end up A-okay for these guys.
I don't think that happens until Lost Galaxy, though. I don't remember.
Okay.
Like, I know little bits and pieces here and there, but I don't think she turns in this series, but I don't know.
I mean, that's fine.
Anyway,
we've already experienced this with Kat. So Kat kind of evil before, and then she realizes that like she doesn't want to be evil and becomes a Pink Ranger. So I mean, this is kind of the same thing, but I guess the stakes are a little more escalated because she's kind of like our big bad for this season.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not too out of the water where I'm like, we've seen it. Power Rangers is a lot of rehashing the same old stories over and over again. So
yeah.
Facts.
Well, last theory before I head into the errors and notes here. Pikachu Master 542 says that there's a theory that Ecliptor is Astronema and Andros' father because we never see their parents.
Weird. I wonder how it is getting together with a grid man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Pixelated sounds painful. Hard edges.
Alicia Masters in The Thing. I mean, that had to be kind of rough too.
That's true. Well,
like literally kind of rough.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Let's get into the notes.
All right. While I am going through the notes, if you guys in the chat want to give us your ratings for this episode, we will get to those right after this. So let's see.
Oh, God!
We're going into the notes, Daniel. We're going into the notes.
All right.
Let's start with the errors, because there are more of those than there are notes. Error number 1. When Andros looked around for the locket, he was standing next to TJ. However, when we cut to the Rangers summoning the Astro Megazord, TJ was next to Cassie and not Andros. This error presumably exists either because different takes where they forgot to add the suit, or they shot this on another day and also forgot to add the suit. They also dubbed in Andros' voice saying, "It'll have to wait," despite him clearly not being with them. Let's see. When Carlos noticed Batarax had radar, he spoke with Andros' voice. So there was another continuity error.
Yeah, we forgot to mention, make sure to put your votes into the chat, because I don't think we said that. We just cut directed notes to end that other conversation. But go ahead and put your vote out of 5 for this particular episode.
Let's see. You guys are already doing it. We do love it.
I know. I love it.
For some reason, the shot where Cassie explained the sonic neutralizer had defeated Batarax's sonic blasts featured an image of a tank-like vehicle canceling out his blasts on it. That was weird. There was also something else that I just remembered that I noticed here that I don't know if this is something that I've just never noticed in any other episode, but at one point in Cassie's helmet, there was a light up image of a cell phone that popped up.
It happens every once in a while. They all have the symbols.
They all have the cell phone thing. So it's just sunlight shines on it, you see it.
I've just never paid attention to that. Let's see. In Mega Ranger, the only way to defeat Bat Nazir was a special sonic canceling device mounted on a van deployed by the company the Mega Rangers worked for. So that was cut out of this episode for the American Power Rangers version. So that just is something that went unexplained for us. When the Megazord hit him with its laser whip, Batarax's arm was out reaching for something, and he had stopped advancing for some reason. And that reason was because he was reaching for the van that was cut out. So most of the errors, it seems, in this episode were continuity based. It just
they're minor. I don't think it detracted from the actual story of what was going on anyway.
Let's see. Justin Nemo again does not appear in this episode. When the Rangers are fighting Quantrons, Andros protects a mother and her 2 children, named Andrew and Karen. The names of the children are very close to Andros and Karone, the siblings that this episode is about. The plaza the Rangers were fighting in was used several more times throughout the series, most notably in Power Rangers Time Force, where Wes's visor was busted out and worlds apart. Going to the chat. Mikey Nerdtalk gives it a 3.5. Jonathan gives it a 4. Larry Newbill gives it a 3. Thomas Franco gives it a 4. Shay gives it an I'm an idiot. The Blur gives it a 3. Jared Hodges gives it a 3. Edward Sanchez Production gives it a 4. And Pikachu Master gives it a 3 out of 5 because of the reveal that Astronema and Andros are siblings. So it gets complicated in the story.
I like that is exactly what Shay said. Can confirm.
I started with Daniel last time, so let's go to you. What did you think overall about the episode, and what do you give it as a rating?
I really do like the reveal. I feel like this was supposed to be a super huge pivotal part, and I do appreciate it for that. I was a little confused because Astronema doesn't trust Andros of like, hey, even though we have the same locket of the same pictures, and we already established that she had the hots for Silver, and they had a date, and she was waiting for him, and I was like, what makes you think you can trust Silver but not Red? I don't know. It's kind of like a weird, like giving me mixed vibes on maybe she doesn't want to believe that that's her brother, but also like she doesn't seem to be possessed. She was just kind of like, hey, Power Rangers killed your family, that you had to hate them, and she became vengeful. I hope we find out that she is possessed or under a spell, that she isn't just naturally vengeful and hateful, because that would cause complications for being a Power Ranger.
Well,
we
don't know how old she is, so she's been brought up to be evil for at least like 16, 17 years.
Yeah, clearly she's been brainwashed anyway, so it's kind of like you can't really judge it right now while she's still in her brainwashed state.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it would be more, I don't know, forgiving for me to be like, hey, you were possessed. Like, Kat was possessed. That wasn't her. Her natural intuition isn't to seek vengeance, you know? Like, a lot of people, like, their parents have been destroyed, but not everyone goes out and is like, I will murder everyone and kill everyone in my path to take me, you know, like, she's not John Wick, you know? Like, even if you have good motivation, I don't know if it necessarily, like, gives you the right to murder a lot of people, you know? We want to root for you, but if you were a real person, that's some complicated stuff to work through. So, I don't know. At this point, I'm gonna give it a 4. I have a lot of theories in the future. We'll see, because that's going to definitely impact future episodes. But as of right now, I like the reveal. It's a little more complicated than normal Power Ranger episodes, so it gets a 4 for me.
Daniel?
Who's next?
I agree with Al in every way. It does get complicated, and I'm looking forward to seeing what does happen and how it plays out. So right now, it's getting a tentative 4. As we continue to watch the other episodes, I will say later, hey, this episode, I will retroactively say this episode is now a 5 or now a 3 because of whatever may come through. So
I like that.
Tentative 4.
All right. What about you, Josh?
I am going to give this one also a 4. I thought that, again, the common thread with for me in general with the series, it seems like, is the pacing and how quickly they move through different parts, or how quickly they jump past one thing to move on to another, and then this other thing takes a while, but then this other thing happens all within a couple of minutes. So I thought there were some pacing issues, but as Daniel said, this is the beginning of a larger arc with another 4 episodes. So I'm going to reserve judgment overall until we've seen the last 4, but as of right now, I like the direction that it's heading in. In the chat, Thomas Franco is asking for the answer to the question of whether or not we will cover all 4 episodes next week or just the 2. Going through the chat, it does look like the overall consensus was that we should cover all 4 episodes.
Okay. Right.
There were a couple of dissents, but more than not said that we should go for the whole thing. So I actually kind of think that that's a good idea. It means that I have to start watching these earlier next week, just to get through them all before the show, but that's fine.
They're shorter episodes. They're 22 minutes, and I'm honestly super excited. This being so good, I can't wait to blow through other seasons that we have. We have years and years to catch up on through retro.
And honestly, I'm kind of excited too, because we are now a little bit more than halfway through this series. Because we have after this arc ends, we'll only have, I think, like 13 episodes left, and then we'll be in Lost Galaxy.
Cool.
Hey, and if you guys could click that like button and also subscribe, we would really appreciate it. We want our YouTube channel to grow. We want to put great Power Rangers content out for everyone. It really does affect the status of how many people see this. So having viewers like you, Power Ranger fans, that really does make a difference. If you can, ring that bell and also subscribe to us if you can.
Right.
A couple of other plugs and updates. Tonight, starting at 7:45, you will be able to see the new episode of Rage Cage, where Sam and Zach will be debating between which Excuse me. Which universe is more overpowered, Dragon Ball Z or DC?
It's over 9,000. My vote is definitely for Dragon Ball.
I don't know. Dr. Manhattan exists though, so that's kind of
why
that's kind of
why
thing.
would they just say Dragon Ball Z versus like One Punch or Bleach or why?
You'll have to talk to Sam.
Sure.
Immediately after Rage Cage, also right here on YouTube, is the Illuminerdi Wrestling Order, where they will be talking about the pay-per-view Money in the Bank.
Okay.
And then at 10 o'clock on Twitch, you can catch me and Elle, where we will be watching along with the new episode of Rick and Morty, which is actually episode 7 this week, not episode 7 last week, like I screwed up.
Same.
Yeah. And also, just for a quick update on our Patreon, Joe and I and some of the others are going through our Patreon tiers right now, and we will be we're kind of doing a soft reboot on our Patreon. Instead of just being for Cosmic Protectors, it's going to be an overall Power Rangers Patreon now for all the Power Ranger content that we put out. So if you're interested in Power Rangers content, check out our Patreon. Make sure to follow it. If you would like to become a patron, I would say, as much as I would love to tell you, go ahead and sign up for one of the tiers right now. Give us about a week. Maybe 2 weeks, and all of those will be revamped, and we'll have some new rewards coming to you guys starting in June.
Sounds good. So make sure to check all those out, and if you want any updates, make sure to follow us on Instagram. We are _Illuminerdi. We're working on trying to get all of our stuff the same, with underscores and periods. But _Illuminerdi, and we will have updates for you there. So. The end. Goodbye. Just kidding. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is the Retro Ranger wrap up. Stay tuned. 7:45 is our next thing, right? Rage Cage.
7:45 Rage Cage.
All right, we'll be tuning in for that. And I guess until then, hope to see you guys later at 10 o'clock on Twitch. Yes. And Daniel will see you on
somewhere.
I don't know. Somewhere.
Yeah, on Instagram. He makes funny things. Go follow him.
Funny-ish.
Shut up. Bye.
See ya.
All right.